Well, good morning, everybody. You guys are making me nervous. You should not stand at attention. Please be seated. So welcome. I want to welcome everybody to the SPIA Convocation and the celebration of our class of 2023 graduates. I'm Matt Howard. I'm Dean of the School of Public and International Affairs, and I'm the Master of Ceremonies. So, class of 2023, you're at the finish line. At this point, the only thing standing in the way of your diplomas is a weather report, but we're working on that. Bear with us. On stage with me are a set of really remarkable people, with members of our faculty who've been your guides and navigators. I want to start with them. They've been with you through thick and thin, including a pandemic. So if you put your hands together for our faculty. I'd like to introduce Wells Ellenberg, who is our alumni speaker. Wells Ellenberg is Director of Governmental Affairs for Southern Company. Southern Company is one of the nation's leading energy providers, and in that role, he engages with Congress, White House, and federal agencies to advance energy policy solutions for Southern Company's 9 million customers nationwide. Previously, Wells managed external affairs, internal communications, and media relations for Southern Company's chairman, president, and CEO. And prior to joining Southern Company, Wells managed a campaign for the U.S. House of Representatives and held positions in strategic and political consulting and fundraising positions, and also worked for Chief Justice Lisa Godley Wood of the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Georgia. Ellenberg earned a bachelor's degree in political science with honors from the University of Georgia. His executive education includes programs at the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania and Georgetown's McDonough School of Business. In 2020, the UGA Alumni Association recognized Ellenberg as one of its 40 under 40 most outstanding young alumni for his personal, professional, and philanthropic achievements. Wells has served on the SPIA Alumni Board of Directors since 2018 and is currently serving as chair of the board. In that capacity, he has remarks for you today. Please join me in welcoming Wells Ellenberg.
Thank you, Dean Howard, and good afternoon, everyone. Most importantly, congratulations to the class of 2023. On behalf of the Alumni Board of Directors, I am honored today to be among the first of many to officially welcome you as the newest members of the School of Public and International Affairs alumni family. I'm also honored to be, I believe, I'm pretty sure, the first SPIA Convocation speaker in the University of Georgia's 228-year history to recognize this year's graduating class as back-to-back college football national champions. I will keep my remarks brief. You've got more important things to do and hear today than listen to me. But speaking of football, I can't help but be reminded of one of the most powerful, visceral associations I have with UGA. It brings a smile to my face and sends chills down my spine every time I hear it. It's Larry Munson's monologue following the lone trumpeter sounding of the battle hymn of the Bulldog Nation on Saturdays between the hedges in Athens, Georgia, America's #1 college town. Munson begins, "Glory, glory to old Georgia. Heroes have graced the field before you." Each of the paths that have brought you to this day is unique, but on this singular occasion of your undergraduate commencement, let us all appreciate that we're here today not only by virtue of our own efforts and achievements, but also because of the support and sacrifice of heroes who came before us. Heroes like Abraham Baldwin, who founded public higher education in America here at UGA in 1785. Mary Ethel Creswell, the first woman to earn an undergraduate degree from UGA in 1919. Mary Frances Early, the first Black graduate of UGA in 1962, whose campaign for racial equality helped desegregate our alma mater. Governor Zell Miller, who established the Hope Scholarship, which has enabled many of us in this room, myself included, to earn our degree. And I would add the Purple Heart recipient, who I sat next to on my Delta flight down yesterday, who lost both his legs in combat, serving our country. These are just a few of the remarkable heroes who have opened doors for future generations. But there are heroes among us this day in this very room. They're your parents and family members, your SPIA faculty and staff, and the friends and classmates seated around you. Without them, none of this would have been possible. We don't get to say thank you enough in life, but today we will. Please join me in giving these heroes a round of applause. The late, great Munson continues. Now a new breed of bulldog stands ready to take the field of battle, to assume the reins of their Georgia forebears, to continue that tradition, understanding there is no tradition more worthy of envy, no institution worthy of such loyalty as the University of Georgia. My fellow alumni, he's talking about you. You're the new breed of bulldog. It's now your turn, our turn, to assume the reins, continue the tradition of unbridled excellence that is UGA and SPIA. It sounds like a daunting task, but thankfully none of us is alone. Today you join an incredible network of 350,000 living UGA alumni, thousands of SPIA alumni in every corner of our nation and around the globe, more than 40 countries and more than 50 states and territories to be exact. These individuals represent a community like no other that will support, encourage, and empower you for all the conflict and divisiveness around us, not to mention the extended isolation of a global pandemic, which you all experienced firsthand. We need community like this now, perhaps more than ever. I'm humble enough to admit that I would not be here today without incredible alumni, faculty, and friends who have supported me personally and professionally every step of the way. They helped me land my first job and make career and life-altering decisions along the way to my current job at a company where I've now been blessed to work for 9 years. It was a UGA alum who offered me this job. It was a UGA alum who recommended me for this job. They were UGA alums that I counseled before accepting this job. And I would also add Dr. Bullock was one of the first people that I called when I knew this opportunity was on the table. Never in a million years, when I was sitting in Dr. Bullock's class, praying he wouldn't call on me, did I envision actually being in the room, helping to shape public policy that has a profound positive impact on my family, community, state, and nation. But my SPIA degree, mentors, and experiences helped put me in that room and prepare me for that opportunity. This spirit of altruism, community, and service is what defines SPIA. And it's what I hope will define the legacy you begin to craft today as an alumnus of this incredible institution. No one expects you at this early stage of your life and career to offer someone a job or to make a substantial financial contribution. But even you can extend a helping hand, offer advice, or make a small gesture of kindness to a fellow bulldog or to a fellow human being. None of us is too important or too busy not to care about each other or not to give back to this community that continues to give us so much. It's on each of us to be a citizen wherever we serve, bigger than our own bottom line, and to ensure the communities where we live and serve are better off because we're there. Exactly 10 years ago, I was sitting in your seat, excited for, but also apprehensive about the future. But if I leave you with nothing else today, it's to be more excited, more confident, and more hopeful than you've ever been before. Because we're all in this together as graduates of the University of Georgia and the School of Public and International Affairs. And us Bulldogs, we never bark alone. Congratulations.
Well, thank you for those wonderful definitely set a superb example for these graduates today. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Aaliyah Elmore. Aaliyah Elmore is a native of McDonough, Georgia. She's graduating today with dual bachelor's degrees in political science and sociology with a minor in Spanish. During her time at SPIA, Aaliyah served as a fellow in the office of State Representative Spencer Fry, where she conducted research and drafted policy on expanding voting rights in Georgia. Additionally, she served as a legislative aide for U.S. Senator John Ossoff, working with the Judicial Committee in Washington, D.C. Around campus, Aaliyah has been involved in the Student Government Association and Young Democrats. Her career focus is to take an intersectional approach towards third way abolition, a way to reimagine rehabilitative and punitive justice. After graduation, she hopes to attend law school and to continue to advocate for marginalized communities through academia. Please welcome Aaliyah Elmore.
Good afternoon, Dean Auer, faculty, staff, and graduates. My name is Aaliyah Elmore, and it is my greatest honor to be standing before you today. Family, friends, mentors, and supporters, thank you for being here. None of us would be here without your unconditional support, love, and guidance. To my mother, I would not be a fraction of the woman that I am at this moment if it were not for the example you set and the path you paved for me. Friends and classmates, our undergraduate experience was complicated, to say the least, by a worldwide pandemic that challenged us in every aspect of life. But this is the day. This is the day you have dreamed about, shed tears about, and spent countless nights at the MLC for. We made it. Congratulations. I want you to look around at your fellow graduates. Under these black caps and gowns, we are a conglomeration of differing colors, creeds, religions, nationalities, and political beliefs. This room is not a monolith. However, SPIA does attract a certain type of person. I can assure you, we have all at least had one O moment. The O that comes when you're meeting another person for the first time and have to languish to get through the dreaded socially acceptable small talk. The O that comes as a response when you tell someone you're studying political science or international affairs, or worse, both. The O that assumes you're either really passionate about a cause or you're the most type A person I'll meet. Either way, to believe in being the change you want to see in the world, it takes a little bit of narcissism and a whole lot of audacity. But I understand the sentiments found in the O. Politics evoke our natural lust for power and control in this chaotic world. It's a means to gaining institutional authority and autonomy. What society deems as a necessary evil is a game that we decided to step up and play. We rose to the challenge of learning the game and changing the rules rather than simply existing in this reality. This is more than audacity, this is passion. How can you not adore a SPIA graduate? We move without fear, we're boisterous in our beliefs, and we boldly interact with this world in ways that many would not understand. Even still, I want to challenge us to change the narrative, to change the tone of the O when we share who we are with the world. I want to challenge us to remain bound by passion as we navigate unjust systems of oppression and sojourn on this pursuit of happiness. I want to challenge us to do everything in love, in the game of academia, in the game of politics, and in the game of life. Without love, we would not be here today. I know that I needed love to be here today. I am not a stereotypical strong Black woman. I am not standing before you out of my own strength. I'm not standing before you solely because of my passion for justice. Strength and passion could never take me this far. Love did. Love is the great intangible. Bell Hooks, in referencing M. Scott Peck, defined love as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one another's spiritual growth. Love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely, both in intention and in action. Will implies choice. We do not have to love, we choose to love. Love is everywhere, all the time, you just have to seek it. In a major that is characterized by strategy and dominant personalities, I unintentionally took a master's class on the transformative power of love. In Dr. Ben Chatri's class, I learned a love that deplored wrongdoing and rejoiced in truth through the Liberian civil wars. Thank you for teaching about the strength of the Liberian women in their fight for political and physical liberation from violence. It was through Dr. Haynes' speakers that I met a love that did not boast. Thank you for being and introducing us to leaders who choose humility and service as their motivators, and in return, motivating us to be the best that we can be out of love. It was through Dr. Bramlett that I learned a love that was not self-seeking, a love that wrote recommendation letters that awarded me the biggest blessings my life had seen throughout college. It was through Dr. Ainsworth that I learned how to be kind. Late assignments were met with grace and what's causing this, rather than, I'm gonna make you feel my class. Thank you for the lessons on game theory and strategy and how to win, but most importantly, thank you for the impromptu lessons on kindness and grace. To my classmates, thank you to every person that shared their notes in the GroupMeets. You are a godsend and will forever be blessed for your sacrifice. Thank you for every Zoom study session born out of the group chat. The collective need for help was met out of the desire of wanting to succeed alongside one another and not against each other. Thank you for every decision that was inspired by your willingness to extend yourself for another person's growth. I want to give a final thank you to the University of Georgia, to the institution that gives us depth and breadth in the lessons of life beyond the classroom. While I will forever sing glory, glory to old Georgia, I wondered what those words of glory mean for us. I discovered that to go from glory to glory, to be ever increasing in glory, is to continually be changed into the person that you were created to be. It is to be increasing in the character and nature of love, love for others and love for yourself. While yes, this degree is a credential from the illustrious University of Georgia, a credential that will unlock access to acquiring economic and social capital, remember that this dream cannot be realized without love. And the dreams that have yet to be realized outside of these institutions' gates will only be met through love. To the class of 2023, we committed to the G, but as we walk across the stage, I implore you to commit to love. Glory, glory to old Georgia, go Dogs, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Well, I think I've been officially upstage. That was gorgeous. So I have the honor now of introducing our keynote speaker, Rita Jo Lewis, who is a SPIA graduate. And I might add, so is her sister, Leontine Lewis Buggs, who is here today. So welcome, Leontine. Thank you for coming. Rita Jo Lewis was confirmed by the United States Senate as president and chair of the Export-Import Bank of the United States, which is the official credit export agency of the United States, in February of 2022, and she was sworn in by U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. Ms. Lewis is a senior executive with over 25 years of leadership experience in international affairs, legal, public policy, business and regulatory affairs, and diplomacy. Ms. Lewis was most recently a senior fellow and director of congressional affairs at the German Marshall Fund of the United States. At GMF, she led and oversaw initiatives, programs, and bipartisan exchanges for members of Congress and their European counterparts, focusing on leadership development and subnational diplomacy efforts. Prior to her time at GMF, she served as the first ever special representative for global intergovernmental affairs under Secretary Hillary Clinton at the U.S. Department of State. And in 2013, she was awarded the Secretary's Distinguished Service Award. Ms. Lewis was the first Black woman to serve as Vice President and Counsel to the President of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. She led efforts to build strategic alliances between small businesses, especially women and minority-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, and executives. She's a life member of the Council on Foreign Relations and former member of the board of the Leadership Council for Women in National Security. Ms. Lewis received her bachelor's degree in political science in 1975. She also earned a JD from Emory University School of Law and a Master's of Science in the Administration of Justice from American University. She's a native of Statesboro, Georgia. Please join me in welcoming Rita Jo Lewis.
Now, who would have thought of that when I was sitting here in that seat of doing those kinds of things? But it's the foundation that we're here today that allows me to stand here and to say, there's no doubt, as they say, which team I'm rooting for or cheering for on game day. It's the red and the black. Because, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Dean, for that wonderful introduction. And it was just so exciting to hear Wells and to hear your honor student, Aaliyah. And Leah, I agree with you, it is about love. And it is about the fact that the love that our family members in this room have with us, each of us, that brings us here today. You know, I want to give a special thank you to the University of Georgia, as the dean said, which is my alma mater, and to the School of Public and International Affairs. I'm here today with my sister, just like you, who is also a graduate, as the dean said, of the University of Georgia, and one of the first Black graduates of the School of Public Administration. So as we said last night, Dean, you get 2 alumni for the price of 1. I'm here and I thank my nephew for joining me also today from Atlanta. But you know, I want to thank the family, the friends, and the faculty, and most of all, to the celebrities that are here today, which is our graduates. I want to congratulate you, the class of 2023. It is a great honor to join you today to celebrate a major milestone for each one of you. And I must tell you, this is my first convocation speech. And I am so excited, Dean, that it is here at the University of Georgia. So before we get started, let's look up from, just make sure y'all look up from that cell phone that you're tweeting on. Take a look. But I want to tell the students, I think they told you to turn your cell phones off. And take a look to your left, as they say, and take a look to your right. And to tell each other, we did it. Come on, we did it. You did it. Come on. And you did it all right. 4 years is a long time when the halls walking the streets of Athens. And now as you turn around, don't get up, the dean killed you. And look for your parents and your friends and your family and throw your hands in the air and say, thank you, family. All right. Athens, Georgia. Thank you. I'm telling you, the families, they're proud today. This is the day. Athens, Georgia, it has been a minute, but it's good to be back here today. Being back on the campus, I feel the way I did all those years ago when I left my parents' home in our little town of Statesboro, Georgia, and came to this university which had 20,000 students at the time. I understand there are 40,000 here? 40,000 students. This is a campus, this is a city. But at that time, coming from a little town in Statesboro, Georgia, with 20,000 students, but only 500 of them on the yard here looked like me. My parents, Charlie and Letha Lewis, hardworking small business owners, prepared me for that. And for a lot of the challenges that I would face, just like yours, have prepared you. They instilled in me the values that led me into public service, values like respect for democracy, respect for people, integrity, always fighting for what's right and not just what's easy, responsibility to my family, my friends, myself, and my country, and fairness, working to promote both equality and equity amongst all people. You know, I know you understand this because I'm sure it is these same values that brought you here to UGA and to SPIA. As you commit yourselves to being the new public service leaders in the domestic and international arenas. At UGA, this education, I firmly can stand here and say, not only did it equip me, but it has equipped you, like it did for my sister and I, with the knowledge and the skills you need as you join a rich tradition of talented public service professionals. But there are some cold, hard truths about the world you are inheriting. And on some days, just reading the news headlines in my Twitter feed seems almost too much to bear. Stories on climate change and racism and disease, poverty, malnutrition, terrorism, divisive politics, unjust wars, cyber attacks, crime, and national disasters. All challenges that could feel insurmountable. Yet generations of Americans before you have also had to face challenges that seem insurmountable. I firmly believe that there are no challenges that cannot be solved. And as the president I work for, President Biden, always says, when we come together as Americans, we can do anything we set our sights on doing. So there will come a time for each one of you when you experience what I'd like to call your moment. It can be a moment of an action. It can be a moment when you meet a person. It can be a moment in time in this history. It can also be a single moment, a single experience that will define your future. It won't just establish the trajectory of your career, it will establish the confidence and conviction that will come to define your very purpose. I had my moment, and it truly changed the course of what I thought my future would look like. After I had gotten a law degree, I was working as an associate at a law firm in Washington, D.C. And while sitting in my office, I received a phone call asking me to serve as the National Trip Director for the Democracy for South Africa for the first Nelson Mandela 8-city First USA tour in 1990. I was so honored. I was humbled to be asked to lead and to direct, but also to travel with Nelson Mandela. I couldn't believe the person on the other end of the phone. I kept saying, "You mean Nelson Mandela, who just walked out of prison after 27 years? You mean the Nelson Mandela who I, along with so many people around the world, when it happened, I was sitting in my own living room, crying tears, but knowing that there was still work to do?" Man, I did not hesitate one bit. I had been actively working as an advanced person and as a strategist in numerous campaigns. And so when I went to meet with the leaders, after months of planning, we covered, as you know, 8 cities and numerous events in 12 days, not only with Mr. Mandela and Winnie Mandela, but also with members of the ANC, the press corps, diplomatic protection, police, you name it. There were ticker tape parades in New York to a key in the city of Los Angeles. There were massive crowds flocked to see him, to hear him, to touch him. Hundreds of thousands of everyday Americans, people like you and me, from all walks and backgrounds came out to see him. Many who looked back on that time, because I talk to so many folks all the time, especially around the celebrations, they sometimes can't even remember the words he spoke, but they do remember the sense of celebration, the sense of hope, and also the sense of victory and feeling of being a witness to history. Some have described it as being overwhelming and a cross between a rock concert and a spiritual experience. Working with Nelson Mandela, that was my moment. It was the moment I witnessed what true leadership rooted in service looked like and what it could accomplish. For millions of South Africans, including so many in the ANC, and for millions of people across the globe who had witnessed the inequity of apartheid. The idea of ending apartheid felt insurmountable and appeared impossible. Nelson Mandela, however, personified leadership that was rooted in service, in sacrifice, and in selflessness. I was working with this humble and gracious man who, at the age of 71, had endured 27 years of imprisonment. And instead of being filled with anger and resentment or a desire for revenge, he forgave his captors, and he emerged with the vigor, tenacity, and conviction to lead the fight against the injustices plaguing his country, and then to become the president of his country. You know, as I watched those 12 days take shape, it changed me. It was a lot of hard work, but it was so awe-inspiring. And I will tell you, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to be sitting around just watching and observing. We were working every day because it changed where I saw myself going and what I saw myself doing. I knew at that moment that I had to lead with service and continue to work for the greater good. I tell you today, you will have your moment. Trust me, you will have your moment. You will meet that person, or you will meet those persons, or you may have already met them right here at UGA. And as you depart from here, I continue to say, be ready for your moment, because when it comes, don't shy away with it. Grab it and learn from it. You know, I need hardly tell you that the world the United States must navigate today is different from the one I graduated into in 1975. We face vast challenges that require American leadership and American innovation. COVID has already shown us this, how interconnected we are, and we're now interconnected globally. And like so many of the challenges before us, it is made clear that we're going to need every bit of ingenuity, smarts, and toughness that each of you possess. So my dear graduates, you're needed now more than ever. You're needed because while our challenges may seem insurmountable, you and I both know that they are not insurmountable. I have no doubt that the education you have received at UGA has prepared you to rise to the occasion. You know, the major pillars, Dean, of a SPIA education, civic education, public leadership, and advocacy will be those that will empower you with the tools you need to succeed in making a difference in your communities, your country, and indeed the world. Remember that for all the injustice and despair that is felt by millions of people, it has been because of ordinary people who have stepped up to do something to create change and to demand better than our society has been able to achieve. And despite the sacrifices of those who have taken up the mantle of public service before you, there will always be more work that needs to be done, because there will always be places and people in this country and throughout the world that, through no fault of their own, will need the aid and support of people like you, who will lead the charge to improve the lives of people in need. Indeed, it was Nelson Mandela who said, "We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in our hands to make a difference." One of the things I know at SPIA is always about celebrating public service. The celebration is because it is a great and noble calling. And it is my fondest wish that each of you have extraordinary careers in pursuit of extraordinary things. So I say to you today, be prepared for your moment and lead with conviction and with a sense of urgency. But always know that you have the knowledge that has been imparted on you by the University of Georgia. That leadership here is rooted in service, and it means that you can never reach the end of your journey. The journey starts today, but we are never at the end of it. The needs of others will always be there, and service will always be required. This is what leadership looks like. This is what public service is required. And this is how we can achieve justice and fairness and equity. Class of 2023, I believe that you can make a difference. And as a UGA graduate, coming from one of the top schools in the country, I know that you are now prepared to be the service-inspired leaders that we need to solve the critical challenges facing our world today. Now go with pride for what you have accomplished, determination, grit, and ingenuity for what lies ahead, and with the conviction necessary to create your own destiny. Congratulations, graduates, and go Dogs.
Chair Lewis, I want to thank you for preparing the students for the moment and for personifying with grace what leadership, effective leadership looks like when that moment arrives. Thank you. Now I'd like to recognize a member of our community who passed away earlier this year. Anna Folsom was a first-year undergraduate student majoring in international affairs from Warner Robins, Georgia. I ask that you join me in a moment of silence to remember Hannah. Thank you. Now, I have some brief thoughts, and they really are meant to be brief, about why we're here, and they're consistent with some of the comments that you've heard already. Commencement, as you know, is the end of one thing and the beginning of something new. And remarks from the stage tend to use metaphors like, today marks the start of a journey. The road ahead begins right now. Go chart your path. Okay, let's go with that. If you're on a journey, then presumably you're headed somewhere. So the next question is, where am I headed? What am I seeking? On this occasion, Albert Einstein had useful advice, paraphrasing Einstein. He said, don't seek to be a person of success. Seek to be a person of value. Again, seek to be a person of value. What did he mean by that? Two short stories, Georgia stories about people of value. Story number one, Lillian Carter, born in 1898 in Richland, Georgia, mother of President Jimmy Carter. In 1966, after the death of her husband and at the age of 68 years old, when most people are retiring, Lillian Carter joined the Peace Corps and helped support public health efforts in rural India. She spent 2 years in a one-room clinic providing family planning information and dispensing medications. How many widows from Richland, Georgia in the mid-1960s traveled 9,000 miles to battle poverty in one of the most remote places in the world? It's fair to say a particular president from Plains, Georgia, well known for his own work in the arena of human rights, received no small amount of inspiration from his own mother's remarkable example. That is a life of value. Second story, Here's a name you may not know. Juliette Gordon Low. Who was she? She founded the Girl Scouts of the USA. In 1912, Juliette Gordon Low organized the first meeting of Girl Guides. That's what they were called then. In the living room of her Savannah home. 18 girls came to the meeting. Now, 111 years later, hundreds of millions of girls have been Girl Scouts. To what effect? Girl Scouts have made generations of children into confident girls and young women who have been empowered through their own self-organization. Girl Scouts alumni lead better managed schools, workplaces that value employees, hospitals that care about patients, teams that nurture the whole athlete. Girl Scouts are problem solvers. They are mentors who pay it forward. And yes, they do a bunch of things better than men. Mariah Carey, Martha Stewart, Hillary Clinton, Taylor Swift, Meghan Markle, Venus Williams, Girl Scouts. Juliette Gordon Low got it started, 1912, an organization to empower girls. In 1912, in the Deep South, yes. These are lives of value. Einstein urges us not to seek a life of success, but of value. In fact, Lillian Carter and Juliette Gordon Low were successful, but success came from the value they generated. How exciting to share the stage with another value-generated president and chair of the Export-Import Bank of the United States, Rita Jo Lewis. Again, thank you. Okay, you have been really patient. So I'm here to introduce now someone that many of you know well, Paul Welch, Director of Student Services, who will join us to recognize each student.
Thank you, Dean Howard. It's my pleasure to announce the names of each of our candidates for graduation today. Or as we say, Wells, the new breed of Georgia Bulldog. Alana Elmore. Abigail Agan. Blake Ainsworth. Samantha Archer. Bree Argo. Berkeley Bell. Ryan Benatar. Cassidy Bigham. Nyla Borrego Santiago. Miles Bowers. Sebastian Bradley. Kendall Brantley. Georgia Brisky. Peyton Brown. Caroline Burks. Trenton Butler. Albert Chen. Sudan Chitgutkar. Kelly Cruz. Royce Crow. Sophia DeLuca. Vanessa DeRozier. Evelyn Doss. Caroline Drawn. McKenna Evanson. Caroline Estes. Joseph Spiegel. Catherine Fender. Blythe Fincher. Kanan Fisher. Camille Free. Jacqueline Ganun. Alia Garrett. Jaden Gill. Mary Golden. William Green. Elizabeth Haney. Lauren Harvey. Jetta Hadaway. Catherine Hong. Hayden Hayes. Emily Hyde. Joseph Hill. Addison Lee Holmes. Matthew Holmquist. Zoe Hood. Olivia Horan. Haley Hughes. Jade Harencio. Peyton Jenkins. James Johnson. William Jones. Munisa Jumabayeva. Aaron Keegan. London Keith. Jack Kardashian. Abigail Kiefer. Elise Kim. Michael Keane. Alyssa Kirby. Leon Kleinman. Hannah Kramer. John Cronenberg. Eric LaCorley. Anara Lamani. Sophia Lee. Chloe Levy. Morgan Lilly. Susanna Long. Celia Lovell. Maggie Mark. Nigel Martin. Emma Marzullo. Delaney Mason. Antavius McCarty. Abigail McDonough. Grace Ann McGillen. Claire McPherson. Harper Ann Moffitt. Jenna Monin. Lonnie New Young. Sailor Claire Morgan. Skylar Morgan. Edward Muscali. Austin Myrie. Joel Tumway. John Oates. Sim Ozdemir. Ellie Patti. Evelyn Pedro. Michaela Penn. Maria Gabriela Pinto. Eva Pound. Faith Price. John Radford. Mary Renfro. Lindsay Ryan. Aiden Rickaby. Anna Grace Rogers. Camille Rogers. Christopher Rossela. Anna Saunders. Marco Sesmas. Isabel Shamaria. Michael Shinholster. Sterling Snake. Jake Sutherland. Abram Spradling. Marta Stevenson. Hannah Stump. Philip Seuss. Ella Swan. Megan Tabak. Taylor Talley. Abby Then. Stodardovich. Riley Turk. Catherine Turner. Andrew Valladares. Rose Van Skyver. Gabrielle Vitali. Britton Waters. Isabella Weiss. Warren Wetzler. Emily Willard. Philip Wofford. Benjamin Wood. Weiss Wood. Marsha Woods. Emmeline Zant. Alma Hernandez. Latana Amici. Holly Lydian. And Olivia Gochek. Dean Hour, the class of 2023.
Well, in closing, even as we congratulate this outstanding milestone for our graduates, I would also like to acknowledge the family and friends in the audience who helped you along the pathway, and that path reaches back a long way. So, to family and friends who've assembled, I'd like to ask our graduates to bathe our family and friends in applause, if you would, please. I also want to extend a thank you, a special thank you to Lauren Ledbetter, Caroline Patchkowski, Paul Welch, and his team, our speakers, and everyone else who expertly planned this convocation. Thank you so much. Graduates, as you leave the concert hall, please be sure to pick up a SPIA pint glass as a small token of our congratulations. Just to clarify that the pint glass is really good for things like milkshakes. I want to thank all the family and friends for attending in person and online. Thank you so much. We are hosting another SPIA convocation ceremony in the early afternoon, so we ask that you please congregate outside the building to allow those families to enter the building who are going to join us for the next ceremony. Class of 2023, please go out there and make a difference. And again, congratulations.
We are